Hey, check it. It's crazy in this place and you already know number one in this race and tukikuta suna dua Mungu ndio tuna praise. Hey, kila mtu manze anze kufunga lace. Hey, na ndo ni feel fiti manze na washa kangwai mimi ndo na washa kangwai manze mimi na washa ngwai ndo ni feel fiti mimi na washa ile ngwai na washanga tu mangwai mimi ndo na washa kangwai
mi washaga kangwai ndo ni feel fiti manze mi washa ngwai yeah wow freestyle na kuna mchezo baba yao naletaga maelezo wamama wafungwe leso wakenani leo mimi nileta kichapo na flow bado naleta na tema ni kama nateta naweka heshima Hasani leta neema yani nabarikiwa burani zinashuka na meena tulia kata minda kupea tumaini niko hapa na ina flow kudani na zaidi watapiga picture na watarecord lazima hii wataadhia lazima watakubali sasa sauti yangu imefika kila mahali freestyling kutoka tu kwenye kichwa you already know why imewashwa kwa hivyo rada imesafishwa
ni feel fiti manze na washa kangwai mimi ndo na washa kangwai mimi ndo washa ile ngwai ndo ni feel fiti manze na washa kangwai manze na washa kangwai yeah ndo ni feel fiti
manze mi washa ngwai manze mi washa ngwai manze mi washa ngwai ndo ni feel fiti manze na washa kangwai
yo manze tumekamna Hasani si tu ni kama jitu kabogo hapa kando waititu you already know manze lazima tunachapa hii kitu tukikama you already know kama misitu tumejaza mistari yani ni vitu mizani zinakaa mingi tunasuna tu just how we do tuko na segwip pale kwa mitambo na lenses you already know miaka mingi we on the benzes
choma ngwai nakwambia choma ngwai man Joshua Blunt halafu niko hapa Hasano na Grant mzinga iko wapi hebu itoe ama kuna mzinga washa kiberiti man you already know biti na ipiga biti you already know na biti na ipiga biti man niko shocked it's tricky yani freestyle na mnaleta yani bila tiki ya
mazima ni wagwan niko fiti manze na
happy Friday
kutumia madarati pia
karibuni sana
way afrosadik tunawasha kwa
nasema vijana poche miadarati hii ngwai lakini iko fit ni kama Hassan ndo katikati sijui niende huku ama kule
ngozi nyeusi mitao tuita Black Panther you already know ngwai pia inatoa cancer
from Wakanda ni the Black Panther na beba vitu utatani mimi kanta
Sorry sana. Karibuni sana to another episode of the Pan African Bliss. That is the one and only Asano Afrocentric and the one and only Caterpillar 254 and of course playing right here in the middle of the 21st century. Karibuni sana. The name of the jam is Ngwai and my name is Joby. To everyone who's here for the first time on all our YouTube channels, on BitChute, to those who are listening to me via the radio station, and for those who are with us also on Spreaker and Spotify, whatever platform you're listening my voice from. Karibuni as we have interesting conversations. Today we're going to be talking about America returning to the Sahel states, and we're going to be looking at how actually currently we have America which is going across African countries or the continent itself, literally funding the healthcare projects, and we're going to be focusing on that specifically because Uganda just recently, that was actually yesterday, they got their first consignment of, that is 19,200 doses of long-acting HIV prevention. We saw recently, we had South Africa, which took the same. Remember, we also had Kenya and Nigeria, and I think also there's one of the countries that said no to this. We had recently Kenya, which also that was towards the end of 2025. They were given some funds in the name of the healthcare projects. And we saw Bill Gates, again, also funded 200 million, literally, that is $200 million that is in the Kenyan healthcare project, and which also led to a lot of conversation about the mosquitoes, the labs that he has actually literally created right here in the 254. We're going to be talking about that, looking at still Burkina Faso and literally the Alliance Sahel state, what is also happening. We're going to be talking about how there is actually a suspected militia linked to the jihadist group, how actually they are now going, killing and unaliving people in the regions of Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. We're also going to be talking about Botswana, where we have the president who has refused and declined an invitation from Donald Trump. And we're going to look at what tone is actually setting right here, and much more still coming from Africa. We're going to be talking about Senegal, which actually it has passed a new bill to double prison sentences for same-sex relationships offenders. So we're going to be discussing on that, and also how Kenya, we're going to start with that, how Kenya actually is selling passports to the RSF leader and the RSF groups out there, being given access to our country, and so much more. So karibuni sana again. My name is Joby, and in case you're just joining us for the first time on this conversation, feel free to engage with us on the comment section, and of course feel free to also subscribe in case you're new on this amazing platform. But for now, before we get into it, I'd love to advise you to also download our app on the Google Play Store. In case you miss us on YouTube, you can listen to us via the radio station. We can listen to us or catch the shows on the show page. In case you have Amazon, Roku TV, even better, our app actually is all there. So all you need is just download it, listen to us by the radio segment, or rather on the TV segment, where you're gonna catch the shows on a replay. But we also have amazing organic supplements on the like of multivitamin, ashwagandha. We have some sea moss, we have turmeric gummy bears, we have beetroot, we have brain and focus, which I'd love to share because our conversation requires critical thinking, and brain and focus actually helps you
unlock your full
think.
potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Affordable price. And in case you have any question or facing any difficulty as you purchase these organic supplements, kindly don't be afraid to reach us out. We have an active chat just down below the sports page itself. You can leave your comment or other question that you have under there, or rather email us at kcnewsam15@gmail.com. Better if you, in case you're also on our WhatsApp page, you can leave your questions right there, and we're going to be looking and reviewing in case you're facing any problem. But starting with what is happening in the 254, that was last year. Remember, I talked about it was not actually an alleged, because you can see this is not even an alleged anymore. This is something that happened, and we can see the results of it. Recently, I've been talking about the Kenya-Somali border being opened, which personally I've had a very big problem with it. And we just saw it's even in less than a week, we're already having links that could, in matters of insecurity, how the Al-Shabaab literally are planning to, again, terrorize some places right here in the 254. That is some information we had literally on our table last week, and I talked about it, and I talked about even the situation personally. I said it's sad to see that African countries, we make decisions that are supposed to help us, but still on the long run of trying to find solutions, we don't even have a strategy on how we can apply solutions. And basically is how we saw Somali closing the border and Kenya. This is 15 years ago, and then reopening the border and you not coming with a proper strategy of building, how do I say, strong defense, literally, if you're getting my point, building a strong defense, just build a strong defense security system. Let me just put it that way, right? And how you just ignorantly open the border back, knowing the same country you're trying to actually, again, in the name of trading, cooperate with, they're also facing the same issues of insecurity. And then we also had Gachagua, that was last year. I talked about that. That was in July, August, I talked about how we had, apart from the spending of the Kenyan funds and taxes, how actually Ruto had brought the RSF leader in the 254, and how allegedly he had met with the Al-Shabaab leader. And of course, these people are all the same. Come on, they're just the same people, just different names and all that. So now we're seeing actually the results of it, because currently or recently, Kenyans are questioning how is it that we have the RSF leader or some people getting passports, the Kenyan passport, and access to our very own country. So I'm going to play this video for you to understand better what I'm trying to say, and I'm going to connect you back to that story as we continue.
Previously, on keeping up with the Kenya Kwanza government.
It's not just the brother of Hemeti who has a Kenyan passport. It's many commanders of the rebel group.
We all know that neighbor, the one who preaches the gospel at the top of their lungs in the morning, only to leave the back door unlocked for the local drug dealer by sunset. This is the neighbor who crawls into bed with anything as long as it is breathing and wears a skirt. In fact, when the sponsor is wealthy, this neighbor is more than happy to drop their dignity at the doorstep. Now, if you're wondering who that neighbor is, stop guessing. It is Kenya.
Exactly.
Kenya has officially become a certified geopolitical concubine. She grabs smoochers with Washington at lunchtime, breaks bread with Beijing by evening, and somewhere in between finds time to twerk for Sudan's notorious RSF rebels while insisting it is merely playing peacemaker.
I love the way this guy just does his videos, because it makes it brings so much humor into serious conversations, but I really love it.
On February 26th, Kenyans woke up to another uncomfortable headline that a senior member of Sudan's Rapid Support Forces allegedly holds a Kenyan passport. According to an unupdated memo from the U.S. Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, Algoni Hamdan Dagalo Musa, the baby brother of the feared RSF commander Mohammed Hamdan Hemeti Dagalo, is beating international sanctions using a Kenyan passport. And it doesn't stop there. U.S. authorities describe Algoni as part of the RSF's financial machinery, sourcing weapons, vehicles, and logistical support, and coordinating funding networks for a paramilitary group accused of grave human rights abuses in Sudan. He was sanctioned in 2024, effectively restricting his international movement. But as you all know, sanctions are only a problem if you don't have a friend like Kenya.
Kenya is a bootlicking country right now, being literally, but we'd say right now, personally, I keep on saying in all the years I've witnessed leadership in this country, yes, we've seen corruption. Yes, we've seen how our country is corrupt, but this level of corruption with this current regime, this level of decision making without caring how the Kenyans are going to be affected is actually getting out of hand, especially with this regime. Things are not okay in the 254.
While the world closed its doors, Nairobi apparently handed him a Kenyan passport. With this document, he has reportedly been breezing through immigration points, dodging arrests and accessing global financial systems, all while disguised as a random Kenyan born somewhere in Nairobi. And yet official records list him as born on August 7th, 1990 in Nyala, North Sudan.
It's not just the brother of Hemeti who has a Kenyan passport. It's many commanders of the rebel group and sympathizers of that group. They have Kenyan passports because their operations are in Kenya. And we are asking, much as this brother of Hemeti has been identified for sanctions by the US and other world bodies, I am of the opinion that the international community need actually to apply these sanctions to the real commanders of RSF, that is William Ruto, and senior officials of his government, because that's where the problem is. If we were not helping Hemeti and RSF to market their gold through Kenya to the to the Middle East. They will not be having the capacity to purchase arms and ammunition for continuing with the war.
Now, understand, that was last year. We had Gachagua, the man you can see on your screen, who is currently again, this is our previous deputy president when Ruto became a president. He was later impeached, which personally, I do believe this is all political stages, political acts, political games, whatever it is. If you're smart enough, you'll understand, right? But this is our previous deputy president impeached and then started exposing what the president was doing even when he was a deputy president, including how the Kenyan president, that is William Ruto, how he met with the RSF leader, met with the Al-Shabaab leader, and literally, again, this is all links to how they can use Kenya to, I think, to clean the gold all the way to the UAE. That is that was actually, again, I think the clear details, because I remember in 2022 or 2023, immediately when Ruto became a president, there was, I think, an information of how Kenya is going to be involved or gonna have peace talks. Actually, it was peace talks. How they're going to have peace talks about the situation in Sudan and all that. Then a few months later, we saw that actually Kenya is not there to talk about. There's nothing to do with peace talks. This is all to do with how they're going to collaborate with Sudan and the UAE to cleanse the gold, or to literally steal more gold from the African countries. And that is what actually, again, is happening. So let's continue and listen still more, but keep in mind that
in Sudan.
So how does a Sudanese rebel financier acquire a passport usually reserved for citizens by birth or 7 years residence?
Imagine.
The breadcrumbs lead straight to the top. His brother, the warlord Hemeti, has been causing up to the Kenya Kwanza administration for months. President Ruto has previously hosted Hemeti at State House at the height of the Sudanese bloodshed, labeling him a brother and telling him to feel at home.
Exactly.
My good brother. Welcome to your other home. Thank you very much. Again, welcome to my home. Thank you. He's also very happy for that. Yes. So I'm very happy to.
Nairobi even allowed the RSF to hold a rally in the city to discuss running a parallel government in Sudan.
Exactly.
Still, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs led by Musalia Mudavadi has denied that Kenya is endorsing the RSF's actions.
People who are involved in conflict in their own countries to be holding press conferences here, I doubt that I would finish a press conference speaking in Uganda, for instance.
Exactly. Personally, I do believe for a sovereign nation, a country that really does value its sovereignty, you shouldn't be involved, or you shouldn't be having any talks with any leader that his country is actually currently not in any sort of peace. Because why would you be having talks with a leader from a country where there is massive bloodshed, massive kidnappings, massive killings, massive sex exploitation? Why would you be doing that? So of course this takes us back to exactly what Gachagua also said about, that was last year, about the election. But we're going to see, still as we continue.
Line is that Nairobi's role in Sudan is diplomatic, aimed at regional stability.
Kenya's position has been that bring the parties to the table. Let them be brought to the table. And by them coming here, was to get them to talk. When did these RSF people stop being our friends? I've seen you have abandoned them today.
But the rabbit hole doesn't end with the Sudanese rebels. Activist Boniface Mwangi has alleged that at least 28 foreigners are in line to receive Kenyan passports through irregular channels. The list is a who's who of questionable characters, featuring names which are mostly Arabic, and one particularly loud guest, Wicknell Chivayo, a man whose resume includes a stint in prison and a habit of parading questionable wealth online. Despite living in Zimbabwe, just like Hemeti, Chivayo has been spotted hanging around the corridors of power in Nairobi, with claims emerging he is a notorious election rigging expert in Africa.
Wow.
Justin Muturi has warned that the country risks sliding into dangerous territory.
So again, this goes back to the election. So understand, Kenya, next year we have elections. We are in the campaign mode already. The campaigns are already, you can say Kenya has always been in the campaign, especially with this regime, like since forever. They have always been trying to market themselves to the Kenyans, but we're not buying that. We are hashtag Ruto must go still. So this goes back to the election. Remember, in case there's any matters of insecurity in a country, this could lead to the elections being postponed. And because Ruto is very unpopular, people don't like him, he's doing everything possible to make himself look popular, and is willing to do anything.
Controversial foreign actors continue to gain access to senior officers. He has specifically questioned why individuals like Chivayo, who are facing disputes elsewhere in Africa, move with such ease within Kenya's political corridors.
Huu mkora ambaye ndiye supply technology in a company inaitwa Smartmatic, Saturday and Sunday walishinda na hii kijana anaitwa Marjan Hussein Marjan ambaye ndiye CEO wa IEBC. Kwa sababu William Ruto amejua Kenya imehama. So hakuna njia nyingine anaweza fikiria. Hata nishangaa wakati anazungumza yale akiambia watu hakuna viti vingine, kiti yake ndio peke yake. Alisema ati atashinda uchaguzi by between 2 and 3 million. You know, if you want to see a man hallucinating, it is William Ruto.
He's not really hallucinating because, again, we know there's no transparency. There's no clear transparency when it comes to our elections. Yes, our elections are always rigged. And he's saying that, he said, because what he's trying to say is when Ruto publicly announced that he doesn't consider that he has any competitor, literally when it comes to the presidential seat, it's given the same thing we had with Samia Suluhu, right? Just having our posters everywhere in the country, the whole country, it was just Samia Suluhu, and literally arrested, ensured that the other opposition or presidential candidates did not even stand a chance to do so, to campaign, to put their posters anywhere. It was just Samia Suluhu. Ruto openly said he's going to wake up as a president, whether we like it or not. And again, clear evidence, we can see what is happening, dealing with with people who are known to be rigging elections in the African countries, for you going all the way to be talking with leaders who are linked in genocide in countries where resources are being stolen. I mean, what are we supposed to be expecting next?
But something surprises me. William Ruto has become, there's something you can discern about William Ruto. Mambo hii ya uchaguzi ameshikwa na kasumba. There's a guy called Winnick. Jamaa anaitwa Wicknell Chivayo. Na kuna picha zake hapa nyingi. Watu wa magazeti ingetaka waone kimtu kikubwa hivi. This man is a convicted fraudster kwa mambo ya kusupply electoral materials in South Africa, in Namibia. Kila akija huku Kenya anapitia Eldoret Airport. We must begin to ask, what is it that they do with William Ruto? Na mkimwangalia hapa, najua ndugu yangu Rejea, najua hii kiti kameza kamoja kako hapa, unakajua vizuri ndugu yangu. aka ni pale ndani kwa ofisi ya Ruto. What is it that Ruto does with these crooks? Jose Camago kutoka Venezuela, huyu Chifayo kutoka Zimbabwe. Na ukimwangalia hapa, huyu Chifayo ako na connection na rais wa Zimbabwe Mnangagwa, ndio huyu hapa, wako na Mnangagwa na wako na William Ruto. Story kule Namibia wanalalamika mambo ya uchaguzi 2024. South Africa in 2023 wanalalamika mambo ya the same person. What is it is that he is doing with William Ruto every time he comes to Kenya?
And to get a Kenyan passport, you are supposed to be a citizen by birth.
Yep.
If you are a foreigner, you need several years, or rather 7 years of residency and a track record of economic.
7 to 10 years, actually, not even 7, just 7. It's 7 to 10. Maximum, it should be 10. Actually, I think they do consider you a citizen, and of course, you need connections too, because we have so many people who have come from different African countries. A good example is the Zimbabweans, literally, the Namibians too. There are so many of them who are here in Kenya. They have been here trying to get the citizenship, leave alone even the passport, leave alone even a visa, just an ID, citizenship of you identifying yourself as a Kenyan. But this has become super impossible. So how come someone who just landed here yesterday gets a passport, gets the visa, gets the Kenyan identification within less than few hours?
Economic contribution. The Degalo family applied in September 2024 and got approved. Wicknell Chivayo lives in Harare, but somehow qualifies as a Kenyan.
Wow.
So here we are. Kenya under the current regime has turned into a diplomatic safe house for the highest bidder.
So this is just about the elections, literally, because again, we're talking about a man who's widely known in African countries to be going around rigging elections. So basically, this is about the elections.
We are jumping into bed with characters the rest of the world wouldn't touch without protection. And as any neighbor will tell you, when you lay down with dogs, you don't just wake up with fleas.
You wake up.
You wake up with sanctions.
Come on. And that is what is happening literally in the 254. So it's very, very clear at this particular point that our elections will be rigged. There's a possibility that this is a possibility. Our elections are going to be rigged. And openly, again, we can see the pictures that have been taken with this guy who is going around in African countries rigging elections, the RSF, the Somali border, Kenya border being opened without even any security measures being addressed, without us talking about how are we going to tackle in case of any attack. How are we going to handle this? Because we've seen the same incidents happening in the country and literally leading to the loss of so many people's lives. So come 2027, of course, it's a two-term. We should say that. And I think it's going to be very hard on Ruto again. Yes, he has people who can get him to rig the elections and all that. He can become a president. But I believe, again, after 10 years, is it 10, 20? 20 years, history is about to repeat itself. 2007 elections, and we're talking about a man who has been actually involved in the killings of the 2007 election and even land grabbing. And today, the same man is a president of this country. You know, someone was actually asking me, someone was telling me they were listening to my show, and then they told me, oh, I heard you talk about, oh, Ruto this and that, or you say this and this, and he was saying that Kenya is a sovereign country. I'm like, my friend, you're really, really going to have to do some clear studies and understand what sovereignty means than just pronouncing it. Because we're so used to hearing these people pronouncing things in our faces, and we're supposed to take that in without first trying to understand what does this mean. What's a sovereign country? How does a sovereign country actually act? I'm going to show you actually how a sovereign country acts, and it's about what I'm about to share right now. That is Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. That is the Alliance Sahel state. Those are sovereign countries. A sovereign country, number one, works for the people. You work for the people, not for yourself, not for your family, not your best suits, not you trying to improve your balloon stomach, trying to look healthy, or you're looking actually unhealthy. A sovereign country ensures its economy is improving. And this has to go back by how you're handling and managing your resources. But if you look at most of the African countries that claim themselves being sovereign, there's nowhere these things that I've mentioned where they are being applied. Not even one. They can't tell us how they manage our resources. They have failed to create, literally, again, industries that can ensure Africa even manages its resources, reducing the exportation taxes and importation taxes and all that. Are you a sovereign country? A sovereign country does not just tell the police for you to go and shoot people when they're demonstrating and calling out the real democracy and practicing democracy. A sovereign country, as a president, you're going to sit down, you're going to listen, you're going to not just have a, what do they say? We want us to have a dialogue. You don't just have dialogues and having dialogues which actually just favor you, not the people. So there's nothing about sovereignty in this nation. We are a joke. So we have Iran on this other end, which has actually collaborated with the Alliance Sahel state. And this is when it comes to the drones refinery and defense push. That is how they are calling it. So I'm going to share this video basically for you to listen to what is happening. And at the same time, we're going to be talking about how we have Botswana, where the president declined an invitation from Donald Trump. If we had this kind of attitude from the word go, do you know how far we'd be as a continent? If we had this attitude from the word go, we'd be very far as a continent. We're refusing to just being summoned, being told what to do. But let's listen to this. Kenya needs to learn from this.
Hello and welcome. We begin in the Sahel, where Burkina Faso's leader, Ibrahim Traoré, is now at the center of a new diplomatic and security push from Iran. Tehran is stepping into the region, seeking closer defense ties with the Sahel's military governments. The shift is formalized this week in Tehran during high-level talks between defense ministers of Iran and Burkina Faso. Now, Iranian officials described Africa as central to their foreign and security strategy and singled out Burkina Faso as a priority partner.
The Islamic Republic is firm to deepen ties with independent and revolutionary countries in the West African region, especially Burkina Faso. The revolutions in the Sahel are popular struggles against colonial policies, and the formation of the Alliance of Sahel States is a commendable step in the face of pressure from Western countries.
The outreach comes as Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger tighten coordination through the Alliance of Sahel States.
Now, this is how sovereign countries move, number one. They are working together. They're making decisions together. And this is something I really love about the Sahel state, the alliance. Like, I just love this unity. It's admirable. I'm not going to lie. It's just admirable. They're making decisions wholly so that they can move ahead together, not you being left behind, not me making decisions and you, I don't give a shit what you do type things, what Ruto, Museveni, and the rest, what they do. Or, you know, this, our neighboring country, just talking shit. They never sit down and help each other. This is how sovereign countries should be acting, how they act.
Now, a bloc formed by military governments seeking new partners after distancing themselves from Western security arrangements. And analysts say that Iran's pitch to the region is straightforward. It's security support in exchange for resource and diplomatic access. Tehran is already a major exporter of military drones, engineering support, and defense technology to its major allies in Africa.
And still this, I love this, the fact that they're doing this because they understand that they are not free and an attack could be launched any minute and you need to be prepared. And that is what we can see the Alliance Sahel state is actually doing. They know they're not safe. They have, yes, freed themselves, but they are not free. So an attack could be launched any minute because we can see the interest of America. We can see how France all the European countries, all of them are still very much interested, and they want to take back control of the Alliance Sahel state. And this actually, again, and working with Iran, which you can see also the US is threatening. I mean, come on, the best decision you can even ever make.
In Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore is reportedly securing Iranian drones and a commitment for a new petroleum refinery, all in exchange for gold and strategic infrastructure access. Now, in Niger, the stakes are even higher. Reports indicate a deal where Tehran provides missiles in exchange for 300 metric tons of uranium ore. And in Mali, the cooperation is already in place. Now, Iranian technicians are reportedly on the ground supporting drone operations and aircraft maintenance while exploring long-term access. In return, Tehran is eyeing Mali's vast gold reserves and agricultural potential. Put simply, an analyst described the model as a closed-loop system. Weapons, training, and industrial support flow in the Sahel. Minerals, strategic access, and political alignment flow out. Now, some transactions are also reportedly structured through local currencies or commodity exchanges rather than the Western backing network. Now, the rhetoric during the Tehran meetings reflected that positioning, and both sides criticized Western pressure and framed their cooperation as resistance against external domination.
We believe that the world can live in full peace if domineering relations are broken and more space is given to peace and justice. We maintain that the main sources of instability in our region are not different from those seeking to force the Iranian nation to surrender.
So why is this happening now? The timing follows a series of major shifts in the region. France's military withdrawal from Mali, multiple coups across the Sahel, and worsening insurgencies have left governments searching for reliable security partners. Analysts say that these military-led states are now actively diversifying their alliances. They are already working with Russian security structures and Turkish drone suppliers. Adding Iran expands their options and reduces dependence on any single foreign power. For Tehran, the Sahel offers something equally valuable, with sanctions tightening and possible military tensions with Washington continuing. Now, Iran is fast-tracking what officials call a pivot toward the global south. Analysts say that new partnerships in Africa provide Iran access to diplomatic allies beyond West Asia. Now, what this really means is the Sahel is no longer just a regional conflict zone. It is becoming a competitive arena for global influence, with Russia already.
There's no conflict. There's nothing to do with conflict. The only people who always actually fund the conflict, we know them. We know them very well, and they're the same people who don't want to see Iran standing, because we know Iran again is one among the nations that refused to be dictated to what they should do with their economy, what they should do with their banks, what they should do exactly, and that is what the Alliance Sahel state should do. And that is what they're doing, actually. So Ruto needs to take some lessons from this, but he won't, because actually Ruto is one among the people, I've seen a video circulating, is one among the people who are trying to betray Ibrahim Traore. Of course, he's the new, fresh, corrupt, young blood leader. Should we say that? the new, young, corrupt leader? I don't know. It's crazy, but that is what is happening. And I'd say actually that is some positive news, according to me. For the Alliance Sahel state to be going to Iran and trying to seek, how they can get their drones, and literally, again, in exchange of real resources. We're not just using the fake money here to give you fake deals. We do an exchange of assets, and you give us the real deal, we give you the real deal. And that is what is actually happening. But still, talking about Burkina Faso, we have literally Burkina Faso, we have America, which has returned to Burkina Faso and their whole Alliance Sahel states, literally with $147 million health agreement that is to support them. They're saying that the United States and Burkina Faso have agreed to a new 5-year health cooperation deal worth up to $147 million, marking Washington's renewed engagement in the volatile Sahel region. The memorandum of understanding signed by both governments is focused on strengthening regional health security by boosting Burkina Faso's ability to prevent and respond to infections such as HIV and AIDS and malaria, improving disease surveillance system, and expanding community-level healthcare access. Officials described the agreement as both a humanitarian partnership and a strategic move, reflecting broader U.S. efforts to reestablish influence in the West amid growing competition from the global powers. Over the next 5 years, the U.S. Department of State will work with the Congress to provide the funding, while Burkina Faso commits to increasing its own health expenditure, demonstrating a shared investment in building a more resilient and locally held system. Beyond immediate disease control goals, the pact also signals a diplomatic recalibration in a region experiencing shifting alliance, internal instability, and heightened insecurity challenges. Strengthening public health infrastructure is seen as a step forward, enhanced stability and cooperation with benefits that extend to broader regional health preparedness and long-term economic reliance. And I don't know about this because the same move is actually being pushed by America so much. We have Uganda, which has received their first consignment of 19,200 doses of the long-acting HIV prevention drug that is called lenacapavir. Can I pronounce that correctly? Lenacapavir. I don't know how to pronounce that, from the US, literally. So the same as Uganda has received its first consignment of 19,200 doses of lenacapavir, a long-acting HIV prevention drug administered twice a year. The shipment, supported by the Global Fund and co-financed by the US government, marks a major milestone in the country's decades-long fight against the HIV and AIDS. Now, remember, we also had recently South Africa, which received the same doses. We had Kenya, which received the same doses. And in Kenya, I remember actually even the first person who got the injection has already come out, is already been photographed, trending and all that. I don't know why. But the US is pushing this matter so much on Africans. And the question should be, the same way we had Zimbabwe, I think, it was Zimbabwe. Let me confirm that very quickly. It was, I think, Zimbabwe. Let me just give me a minute. I confirmed that very quickly. I reported that just the other day. Yeah, it was Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe rejected the proposed 350 million health funding agreement from the United States, terming the deal as a one-sided and a threat to the nation. So if you go back to Uganda, that is Burkina Faso, I think that is something they need to check on very quickly, because you have to understand why are they helping you? What do they want in return? Why just come help me? Why don't you go help Americans and their health? You're actually taking away so much from Americans when you talk about actually the social healthcare system and all that. Why won't you discuss about that? Go deal with Americans, leave Africans. Let us tackle our own problems. But I believe maybe some people would say when it comes to Burkina Faso, they still do need that help because they have not been able to, maybe they're not still able to fund themselves when it comes to different matters, but still, have they proved they can stand by themselves without being funded? Yes, they have actually proved that. So African countries need to be very cautious, or the African people need to be very cautious. I feel like, especially right now, if you're just going to get any injection in the hospital, you need to be very careful in the continent of Africa, because you could be getting a different shot of something different that actually you're suffering from. And again, the agenda remains the same. They pop as many as you can. So it's crazy. They're saying that they approve, the arrival follows approval by the Ugandan's National Drug Authority, that is the NDA. That was by January 2026. The clinical trials conducted in Uganda and South Africa demonstrated that lenacapavir is highly effective in preventing HIV infections among adolescent girls, young women, and a group of disproportionately affected by the epidemic. And let me see if maybe people can critically think here on the comment section. People have said, someone says have they tried it on their people first? Exactly. Because why is it that Africa is always a testing ground of all these injections? We need to see you do it on Americans first. Let's see how they're going to react, how many people are going to come out as witnesses that they have actually healed from the HIV and AIDS before you come prioritize Africa. Exactly. Have you tried it on your people first? Shout out to you, John Mosquito. Karibu sana. Hope you're doing great today. Have a good day too and welcome. But someone also says, hizi dawa zinapigwa test in Africa solo. Exactly. These medicines are only being tested in Africa, and the question should be, why are they doing this in Africa? Someone also says, let me see, are the first developed countries not using it? Exactly. So you can see actually that people are questioning it, and it should be a very serious discussion held by the people. Why is it that they're not doing it on their people first? Go test it on your people, then come back to Africa. But still talking about Burkina Faso, on this other end, we have a video that is circulating online of actually hundreds of, they're calling themselves the Jinn fighters, who are actually now currently running and taking control of some places in Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. So they're saying that suspected militants linked to the jihadist group Jama at Nas Alam Wala Muslim, that's called the name literally, launched a large-scale attack on the town of Mani, reportedly involving hundreds of fighters. According to the local sources, the assailants overran a military base, and set fire to a significant portions of the town, forcing residents to flee for safety. And the scale of the assaults highlights the persistent security challenges facing eastern Burkina Faso, where armed groups continue to expand their influence. Witnesses say that the attackers arrived in large numbers and carried out coordinated operation targeting both security installation and civilian areas. The destruction of homes and public buildings has left many families displaced, while the fate of some security personnel remains unclear. The attack is one of the latest in the series of escalating incidents attributed to the extremist groups operating across the region. Meanwhile, reports indicate that the residents in several communities affected by the recent violence have begun negotiating directly with the Jenim leaders in an attempt to secure protection and avoid further attacks. Community representatives say that they feel excluded from the decisions made by the transitional government and fear continued violence if local agreements are not reached, which is a lie, of course, because remember, the mainstream media always does this every single time, especially when there is, again, we go back to the Hegelian dialectic. They cause the problem to see the reaction, to bring the solution. And we've seen for the longest time they've been trying to paint Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali with names, saying that actually insecurity has risen since the real independence was claimed by the current leading leaders of those countries. So the fact that they're saying that we have some people who are, the community representatives say that they feel excluded from the decisions being made. No. Remember, we shared actually a video of this lady was saying how they're very comfortable with Ibrahim Traore. They don't care whatever the West paints about him. They're not going to do election. It was about actually the election. I remember Keith made me share that. They don't want no election. And if they have any election, they want Ibrahim Traore still being the leader. And that should be respected. So these matters of exclusions not being included in the decision making is actually a lie, because we've seen also Ibrahim Traore how he openly he talks to the people before he makes decisions. Everything is actually out there. He is not lying or fooling anyone. But they're also saying analysts warn that Such negotiation reportedly conducted on terms favorable to the militants and could further weaken the state authority and deepen the humanitarian crisis. Well, this is what, of course, America wants, and that's why I'd say also Burkina Faso needs to be careful, because the offer America could be giving you could be coming with this kind of consequences. If you don't agree, and if you also agree, if you agree to more of their money, this is going to happen. They're going to be funding more jihadists to come and destroy your country. But literally, I'd say as we get to wind up with today's conversation, we have our last conversation coming from Senegal and Botswana, where we have the Botswana president. I kind of do admire is how do I say, is that's the term I want to use, courage. I admire his courage. I remember last time I did share his video, but I didn't finish it here. But he was talking about how African countries need to manage their resources, how African countries should not be dictated to, how African countries need to make decisions by themselves. And I think he's been pushing that for a minute, literally. I'd say that we've seen him actually also showing interest with working with the Alliance Sahel state, Burkina Faso to be specific. But we've seen that was yesterday. The Botswana president advocate, Duma Boko, declined an invitation from Donald Trump to visit the White House and says that the US president must come to Botswana if he wants to see him. I remember Ruto said this once, but he didn't have the boldness or the courage to stand on his words, because after he said that, a week later there was a summit in New York, and Ruto took his legs there, crossing the New York streets as always with his wife. It's crazy. But yes, they're saying that the Botswana president, Duma Boko, has declined an invitation from Donald Trump to visit the White House, insisting that the discussions concerning Botswana resources should be conducted within the country. Exactly. As it should have been, as it should be. This tone should have been said from a very long time, but it's never too late, they always say. Boko emphasized that Botswana cannot continue traveling abroad to negotiate matters tied to its own assets and development trajectory, stating that the partners with genuine interest should engage directly on Botswana's soil. His remarks including the assertion that in business, buyers go to the sellers, are being interpreted as a broader signal on sovereignty, leverage, and evolving approaches to African economy diplomacy. And I do love this. I know. Oh, yes, exactly. I do love this, because this is how the tone should have been set from the word go. We should have African leaders telling America or these countries, you're the one who wants us. We don't want you. Come to us. Come to Papa. Come to Mama. It should not be the other way around. How is it that a baby? How do I even put it? But exactly, I think the best time is actually to use what he said, that the buyers go to where the sellers are. Exactly. There's no way I want groceries, but I'm going to tell the grocery lady, hey, I want you to bring the groceries to me. I'm the one who needs the groceries. I have to go get the groceries to where the lady is and where the market is. I have to go negotiate where the market is. But it's always how America always wants to act like they can bully anyone, just boss around anyone. Nah, I like this. And I really, this is the men we need. These are the men we need. These are the people we need to see, running Africa and talking like the men they are, because they are men. I love this. This actually just even brightened my face even more. Like what I saying. Exactly. In business, the buyers go to where the sellers are. You don't tell the seller, come on, are you crazy? You're sounding crazy and crazy. But on the last conversation, we also have Senegal, which on a new bill seeks to double prison sentence the same-sex relation offenders as countries intensifies fight against the gayism. They're saying that Senegal Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko, shout out to him, has proposed a new bill that would increase prison sentences for same-sex relations to between 5 to 10 years. And the legislation was approved by the cabinet last week and sent to the parliament on Tuesday, February 25th. Sonko explains that the bill targets what it calls act against nature, of course, because this act is against nature. And again, like we said, even leave alone this, everything that America or these countries push to Africa is always against nature. And that's why we need to start questioning, like you can see people on the comments are questioning the decisions America are making when it comes to Africa. And shout out to again the Botswana president, because again, we're not going to be having one-sided conversations anymore. We're going to listen to us. We do things this way, or you kick rocks. Go kick rocks and kick it until you die. That's what you need to do. But that's saying Sonko explains that the bill targets what it calls acts against nature. Currently, such acts carry 1 to 5 prison terms. Under the new proposal, the punishment would rise. And it says that if an act is committed with a minor, it will attract the maximum penalty. And the draft law also includes penalties that promote and support. The draft law also includes penalty for promoting, or supporting same-sex relations, ranging from 3 to 7 years in prison, and it adds fines up to 10 million CFA francs. That is approximately 2.3 million Kenyan shillings for those convicted. Additionally, the bill would punish people who accuse others of being homosexual without a proof. The rights advocate, wow, without a proof, that's crazy. Rights advocates have criticized that the proposal. The rights advocates have criticized the proposal. They argue that if further limits the rights of LGBTQ people in Senegal, where same-sex relations are already banned. Sonko announced that this comes after a series of arrests earlier this month, where the police have detained at least 12 men, including 2 public figures and well-known journalists. This is crazy. So that is what is actually happening in Senegal. And again, it's an act against nature, and we need to start standing on that very much more. But karibu sana Keith, how are you doing today?
Sunday, you went real early today, didn't you, Joby?
Yeah, I was here on time because Kamlesh was not here on time. So I decided to start my show on time. I'm not going to be late because he's not here on time. So I do my job on my time. So that's why I started early. But I hope you're doing great. John Mosquito Karibu says courage, boldness, and tenacity. What is tenacity, Job? Boldness and tenacity. I have to check that out, what tenacity means. Also says, let Trump visit the shithole. I know, exactly, because why do you want us to... that's what I'm saying. I went back. That's why even you had me say I'm going back to Ruto's words. Ruto said, there's no way we have 54 countries always going to this summit, yet we have an African Union chairperson who should go represent the matters of Africa.
He knows why. He knows why.
A week, Ruto was there in the streets with his wife, crossing the New York streets, literally going to a summit. A week after, he just said that bullshit. So I'm like, where's you standing on your?
There's another new summit they all showed up to again.
No. We had the Botswana president. The Botswana president, he declined an invitation from Trump, saying that a buyer has to go where the sellers are. You can't tell the seller to come and sell things to you. You have to go to where the seller is. Exactly. So you're saying that most of the times, of course, which is a conversation that has been had even on the previous video he had, it's a high time African countries start making decisions by themselves. There's no way going to be always having America, China, Russia, these other countries dictating to you what you should do with your resources, because at this point it's America that wants to benefit. It's not even Botswana. And for the longest time, other countries have been benefiting off the soil of Africa, not them even benefiting. And that's why I was saying, again, a sovereign country is going to understand how they're going to manage their resources. If you look at what Ruto was doing, a sovereign country manages its resources, and you'll need clear accountability of how your resources are being managed. But if you look at most of the African countries, we've not been able to manage our resources. We're not accountable. America is accountable. So is China. So is Russia, all these other countries are. So I love this decision that, and him standing on business. You can't tell me to do this while actually you come to my house. Are you telling me you want to see me, but you want me to come to your house? You come
Who
to
said
my
that?
house. The Botswana president, he refused
Oh, okay.
an invitation from Trump, saying that he's not going. He says in business the buyers go to the sellers. Exactly. It's like I'm saying there's no way I want groceries and I'm telling the grocery lady, you bring groceries to my house. I
Well,
have to go to
that's about respect. So anyway, yeah, the lack of respect Africans have had is crazy. So what they try to do with all these healthcare bills, you know, they want your data and they want all your resources. All these healthcare bills are the same. They say, oh, let's take care of your health. We know you should already know what that's about. And then with that, we get access to all your resources as much as we want. You can't do nothing. You're like, what? These bills didn't make any sense. Zimbabwe, Kenya, Zambia, all of them. It's all about getting all your resources, leaving you poor, them getting your health data. Wink, wink. You know what that's about? That's just stupid. And then them getting that. What does health got to do with my resources? They did it to all black African countries. Want your health data, and we want all your resources.
And that's what I was saying, because Burkina Faso has also made the same decision. They have received $147 million from America. This is in support of their, again, health. Literally.
Yeah, they all did.
Uganda, the same. Uganda has received 19,200 doses of the HIV injection test. South Africa received them last week, remember, and apart from the cows also being injected, the people also being injected. Kenya, we had Bill Gates, who funded 200 million, and America itself also funded more money. That was
But
the end of
but I think Kenya said no. Like Zimbabwe said no. Kenya said no. Zambia said no.
You believe that? I'm not believing that. We already have the first person, because this is how even dumb and stupid also Africans are. The first person who got the first HIV injection in Kenya is trending. He's going viral because he's supposed to be considered a hero. I don't know. Like, he's now a hero because
it's propaganda. Yeah, but they're trying to get more Kenyans to take these. You know what? It's propaganda. So they put it out there. Good luck to him.
I know, it's crazy. But I also see John Mosquito says it's come to daddy, not Papa. It's the same. You understood it. But yeah, you should go to Papa at the same time. Come on. But I also see John Mosquito says, I know that's Brother Keith. As soon as I hear that squeaking noise, of course it is the population agenda. Yes, that is what is happening. But I think that is at the end of the conversation, literally, that I had for you guys today. We've talked about Ruto and him giving literally citizenship to the RSF leaders, and which is a question. He's been seen talking to. Yes, they're getting now passports, Kenyan passports. The RSF leaders are Kenyan, Kenyan citizenship, not even
Wow, this like, oh my God, if you guys will get rid of Ruto, I want to tell you, this is the UAE and the United States with these. This is not. I'll do it today on the Tonight Show. This is not real again. All the Africa. Shout out to the dude I've been to that. Couldn't get all your groups, all your stimulation. It's all is not real. I've been through that. I all knew it. All your terrorists, all your shit. Same thing. You put the shit together in Mexico. It is not real in Mexico. You know, it's not real. Trained all the cartels down in Mexico. Yeah, the Hegelian dialectic. It's crazy.
Yeah, so talked about that, and we were talking about how this could lead to now. This is about the election, literally 2027 election, and it's going to be very chaotic. Like I've said personally, I feel like Ruto, because he's unpopular, is finding ways on how he can steal election. Being spotted with one among the people, one of the popular person actually in Africa who goes around rigging elections. Is, I don't know his name, but he's this one big fat guy, very, very fat and very unhealthy, but he's been seen in Kenya a couple of times, and of course Kenyans are questioning about this. But at the same time, I'm also saying Ruto is not going to manage this generation. This is not the 2007 generation. We were babies when you were killing our people. That's the difference. We were babies. We watched all that shit. How
True.
people were their heads being chopped and being put in places and all that. The Mungiki, how they did so much killing, and you still became a president. You think that this generation, and we're the people who are actually affected, because most of our parents, either they died during the election or lost their homes during the election, their lands. We're the people who have suffered the consequences of your actions. So if you think the same generation, which is currently very grown, understands the economy, understands the Kenyan system, and also has understood the bullshit you're doing, you thinking you're going to get to rig the election and it's going to be just a quiet day? You gotta stop smoking that crack. That's what I'm gonna tell you, Rujo. Like, you need to stop it. You need to stop listening to your advisors. They are really fooling you, because this generation is too woke. You can literally see on the comment section that I'm discussing about Uganda receiving those doses. People are asking, why isn't America testing these drugs on their people? Why is it that Africa is
How about that?
people are questioning things. We know that generation of our parents
Finally.
used to push deals and people are going to accept it. We are questioning things. So it's going to be very chaotic next year. It's already chaotic just by campaigns. People are being shot, killed, and yet we are a sovereign country. So I shout out to my friend saying that we are a sovereign country. We're not a sovereign country at all. We're not. We are very
Nope.
fucked up country. We're very fucked up. We're very close to Uganda at this particular point where we're headed. We are headed towards Uganda's direction of dictatorship, lack of accountability, and it continues, which is getting super worse. So we're either gonna do something about it, or he's gonna either do something about it. But I believe it's gonna be very chaotic. That's literally personally what I'd say, because people are too educated, people are too smart. But yeah, those have been our discussion. We talked about also what is happening in Senegal. We talked about what is happening in Burkina Faso, where
Did you show Senegal that all white restaurant?
nah, we tried finding that. You didn't send me the video. Did you send me the video? I don't think you sent me that video.
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
Imagine, this is crazy, but you guys allowed it. French and Italians. We need to do something about it. Do it now. Don't say we need to unite and all this old crazy stuff. All this old crazy stuff you're talking. Supposed to have been done what you need to do. Same old African nonsense. Supposed to have been did it.
Okay, let me wait. Let me see. TikTok. No, I don't think you shared it on my TikTok yet.
No, I'm sharing it now. I'm getting it now.
Oh, okay. Kumaliza.
Here it comes now, Joby.
Okay.
Check your phone. I sent it to you.
Got it.
I didn't wait for the picture to show up. It's sad. It's the same thing over and over again. They keep doing it over and over again to you. It's over and over and over again. And like I said, I always go back to the moment when I taught Joby and Katie this, when they went to Tanzania. And they stood it because they used to just walking over African people. And sad enough, you guys have tolerated and have allowed it. That's why that guy, when Katie and them was giving this white guy the work in Africa, these girls must have been in America. It's not the way Africans act. They must have grew up in America. Because this is over and over and over again. Whether it be in South Africa, Kenya, this place in Kenya on the coast. I know that black people can't enter. You know how I know? Because a couple of years ago I tried to book some damn rooms. They said no niggas in Kenya. The same thing in Tanzania. Right? Cammy and Cammy and Spice.
A minute.
Go ahead. That's it.
Que c'est les clients se partagent entre Italiens et Français. Ça, c'est inadmissible. J'ai mon restaurant.
And pause it. Baby, and they're all on the and that's on the beach. The white people out there just sunning on a nice beach, got their breasts. That's on the beach. They come all by the beach, and you niggas can't come to the beach right here. And we're like, what? Go ahead, Joe.
And I'm a punch your pink face, goddammit.
Il est inadmissible que de là, on pousse les gens à aller vers l'autre italien. C'est inadmissible. Donc, j'appelle à la révolte. J'appelle le peuple sénégalais à dire non à ça. Nos côtes nous appartiennent. Nos plages nous appartiennent.
See how weak you are over and over again.
Ça va se passer ainsi. Ou sinon, on permettra plus personne de manger dans nos plages. Parce que nos plages sont à nous. Vous avez votre argent, notre place sont à nous.
Yeah. You speaking all that French don't change nothing.
On va faire que vous allez foutre le camp. Vous croyez avoir de l'argent. Oui, d'accord. Mais ces plages nous appartiennent. Ces sols nous appartiennent. On va s'en jouer ainsi. Soit vous entrez dans les restaurants africains, sénégalais, ou foutez le camp. On va pourrir la plage.
Yeah, I understand it. See, I understand that part. He said, this is not South Africa, this is Senegal. Don't matter. You're a nigga. We're going to dominate you. Go ahead, Joe.
Why is he there making noise? Why is Senegal, like, the only response to this?
Well,
they tried it once. I know they tried it once in Lagos, in Nigeria. They tried a strip club for Europeans only. And the only response to that was the day it opened it up a few years ago. Lagosians went there and tore the place up.
Exactly, ban it. That shit is even very easy to ban. Just set the fire. Very easy to ban it down.
That is the only response to that restaurant. Go there with your boys, get a bunch of sticks, crowbars, break every chair, break everything.
No, burn it to the ground. Burn it.
Place up, light it up on fire. That's the only response. Also, go back to that video. You'll notice a pod of fruits, like a bunch of pods. That's a baobab. So I've never seen a baobab tree that tiny before. It's usually incredibly massive. But the baobab tree is literally the spiritual tree of the Senegalese people. So I found it interesting.
Africa. Baobab trees are everywhere.
In Senegal for white
Kenya,
Italians only.
Tanzania.
Surrounded by literally the tree that is a spiritual tree of the Senegalese people, the baobab
Not
tree.
the Senegalese, that's of African people. It's in Kenya, it's in damn Tanzania, it's Africa. Not Senegal.
Yeah, burn it to the ground. We need to have some dignity within ourselves.
Exactly.
There's no way you come in my house, you tell me, Checky, I'm gonna put a restaurant here. I don't want you in this part of your house. You think, what? You crazy? You what? Something is wrong with you. We need to stand on our dignity as African people, because you can't do that. You as an African in their country, you go try set up.
You're right.
Try set up even a toilet, leave alone even a restaurant.
Africans would never try that, don't you? They would never go somewhere else's country and say this for black only. That should have been.
You need to have some balls. You gotta become a Botswana president and talk some shit. Like, please, you gotta be courageous. You gotta be bold when you're talking. You can't be weak and still trying to get some justice. It's not gonna work. At the same time, it's not gonna work. You gotta have some boldness, courage to face things. That is just how life it is, literally, and that's just the rule of life at the same time. And you have to either align to it, or you either have to become and remain weak. The choice is yours. But family, have yourself a beautiful rest part of your morning. You are talking just in a few with Let's Pop, see what she's gonna be discussing on our conversation, and of course we're gonna be back with the Rhythm Scoop Show later on. We have the sports. If Kamlesh is gonna be in, but we also have the Africa Today show later. So much love.
He still hasn't made it in?
Nope. So see you guys later.
Looks like